There's no resource to help with the idea that I'm still married to a man who's going through divorces.
Oh, Mom, I didn't even...
It wasn't just a court hearing, it was a full-blown detonation. The kind of eruption that had been building quietly, secretly, behind the glimmering facade of reality TV for years. And when it finally blew, it didn't just take down the walls, it obliterated every illusion we'd ever had about Kody and Robyn Brown. In one morning, the carefully polished image collapsed, shattering into headlines, hashtags, and gasps. Outside the courthouse, the press swarmed like vultures circling. Fresh prey. Camera lenses glinted in the cold light, barricades rattled as reporters leaned forward, and every eye was locked on those courthouse doors. Inside, the air was tense, heavy, almost electric. The soft murmur of hushed voices bounced off the marble walls, growing louder, like a storm about to break. This was the moment everyone had whispered about for months. But today, it was no longer rumor. Today, it was real. At exactly 8:59 a.m., a sleek black SUV rolled up to the curb. The passenger door cracked open slowly, deliberately, as if savoring the drama. First out was Kody Brown, the once untouchable patriarch of the polygamous Brown clan. Gone were the easy cowboy boots and casual swagger. Today, he wore a sharp, charcoal gray suit, his jaw clenched, his eyes narrowed, and his face set with a kind of grim resolve. There was no smile, no wave for the cameras. Behind him, Robyn stepped out, clad in a deep navy dress, her face an unreadable mask. No clasped hands, no show of marital solidarity, just two figures walking side by side, bound together by tension, so thick it felt suffocating. As they approached the courthouse steps, the media pounced. Shouted questions cracked through the air like gunfire. Kody, did you hide money from the other wives? Robyn, are there criminal charges? Are your kids testifying today? But the Browns didn't flinch. They didn't speak. And somehow, their silence roared louder than any denial or confession could have. The seeds of this legal storm had been sown months earlier, barely noticeable at first. Sister Wives fans started picking up strange shifts in the family dynamic. Cryptic online posts from Christine, Janelle, and even Mary hinted at betrayal, loss, and painful endings. Christine's words cut deepest. Sometimes the truth hurts more when it comes from those you once trusted the most. Behind the scenes, whispers turned into accusations. Former family members, speaking under the shield of anonymity, alleged that Kody and Robyn had been quietly diverting large sums of shared family income into private accounts. Accounts only they controlled, under the pretense of household management and emergency savings. The timing was damning. These transfers reportedly began right after Christine left the family, stoking suspicion that Kody and Robyn were preparing for more departures by hoarding assets in advance. Christine and Janelle's attorneys demanded forensic audits of every shared account, alleging years of calculated financial manipulation. When the state got wind of potential civil fraud, they decided to dig deeper, and what they found set the stage for the showdown now unfolding in court. To understand how shocking this was, you have to rewind. In the early days of Sister Wives, the Browns operated like one big, chaotic, but united household. Every paycheck, TLC contracts, book deals, online business profits, flowed into a single pot. That money paid for everything: food, housing, the kids' education, vacations, you name it. But everything changed in 2014, when Kody made Robyn his legal wife. The title wasn't just symbolic, it gave her legal control over certain, assets, decision-making rights, and, crucially, access to sensitive financial records. Court documents now accused Kody and Robyn of siphoning between $1.2 million and $2 million from family funds between 2016 and 2022. The allegations were explosive. Money meant for all the wives and children had allegedly been funneled into private trusts, LLCs, and personal accounts. That cash-funded real estate deals, luxury purchases, and private school tuition, mostly for Robyn's kids. By the time Christine and Janelle pushed back, the money was gone or locked away beyond their reach. Inside the cramped courtroom, every seat was filled. The press occupied a reserved row, their cameras and notepads at the ready. At the front, Kody and Robyn sat stone-faced beside their attorneys, looking every bit like a couple bracing for battle. Their lawyer wasted no time, framing the case as nothing more than a smear campaign from bitter ex-partners bent on revenge. But the atmosphere shifted when the prosecution began. Their very first exhibit was a smoking gun, a $200,000 wire transfer from the Brown family account to an account titled Robyn Home Purchase. The collective gasp from the gallery was instant, sharp, and impossible to ignore. And that was just the beginning. More records followed. Bank statements, signed documents, and even audio recordings, all painting a damning picture. Among the claims was that Robyn had used family credit cards tied to Christine and Janelle's accounts, charging thousands without their consent. In some cases, she had allegedly signed legal documents on their behalf, documents they swore they had never seen. The judge's brow furrowed as he reviewed the evidence. At one point, he leaned forward and said flatly, "If even half of this is true, this case goes beyond miscommunication. This is potential civil fraud." Then came the most gut-wrenching moment of the day. The prosecution played an unaired clip from one of the final seasons of Sister Wives. In the footage, Kody's voice was firm, almost defiant. "I didn't think I needed their permission to protect what matters. Robyn and I are doing what's best for this family." The scene then cut to Janelle, shaking her head and whispering, "He stopped caring about this family the moment it stopped being about Robyn." That raw, unfiltered exchange hit the courtroom like a punch to the gut. It wasn't just evidence, it was heartbreak captured on camera. By the time court adjourned, the scandal had already consumed social media. The Kody exposed, our Robyn court scandal, and Sister Wives fraud were trending. Fans flooded TikTok, Twitter, and YouTube with furious commentary. Former reality stars weighed in. Speculation exploded. Would Robyn face jail time? Would Kody be forced to repay millions? Was this the end of Sister Wives altogether? TLC now faced a nightmare scenario, a court case that not only threatened its most profitable reality family, but also called the show's authenticity into question. As the judge set the date for the next hearing, one thing became undeniable. This was not just a scandal, it was a reckoning. For years, Kody had built his empire on the illusion of a quirky but devoted polygamous family. He sold the dream. He sold the image. And perhaps he even sold it to himself. But that dream was dead now, replaced by a legal war that promised to strip everything bare. And as the paperwork piled up, one chilling truth emerged. Behind every empire lies a paper trail, and Robyn Brown's was about to be laid open, line by damning line for the entire world to see.
No. Hey ladies, I'm sorry. I was at fault too. I just didn't see a future. I wasn't happy.
The air in the courtroom was thick enough to choke on, and all eyes had shifted to one woman, Robyn Brown. This wasn't the soft-spoken newcomer fans had met in 2010, the seemingly shy, introverted fourth wife who Kody once swore was his spiritual soulmate. Gone were the warm smiles and gentle confessionals filmed from the comfort of a couch surrounded by kids and throw pillows. Today, Robyn sat stiffly at the defendant's table, facing accusations so explosive they threatened to blow apart the last remaining pieces of the Brown family's public image. The clerk's voice rang out, crisp and formal, as a thick folder slid across the table to the judge. "Item, Jury 47, she announced. Financial documentation outlining unrecorded transactions, asset shifting, and questionable fund transfers involving Mrs. Robyn Brown." The judge pushed his glasses higher on his nose, flipped the folder open, and began reading. The hush that fell over the room was total. You could hear the faint click of a camera shutter somewhere in the back, but not a cough, not a whisper. It was happening. The very secrets fans had speculated about for years, laid bare at last. The filings painted Robyn as the architect of a long-running financial scheme, one that began in 2016. 2 years after Kody's legal divorce from Mary and his subsequent marriage to Robyn gave her full legal access to shared bank accounts, lines of credit, and business assets. With those privileges came trust. And according to the allegations, Robyn didn't just mishandle that trust, she exploited it. Instead of fairly distributing family funds, she allegedly diverted assets into private accounts under her name, or jointly with Kody, leaving the other wives locked out completely. The court listed 5 damning allegations. The first, secret property purchases. In 2019, Robyn allegedly used pooled family funds to buy a $900,000 Flagstaff home, while telling the rest of the family they were broke. The property title reportedly listed only her and Kody's names, with no sign of financial contributions, credited to Janelle, Christine, or Mary. The second, unauthorized account creation. Financial audits uncovered 2 LLCs, Brown Family Holdings and Life with Robyn Inc., both naming Robyn as the sole manager. Between them, the companies collected over $420,000 in consulting and family management payments from TLC reimbursements. The third, credit card abuse. Records showed charges for a luxury designer furniture set, multiple high-end handbags costing thousands, and private school tuition for Robyn's children from her previous marriage, all billed to joint family credit cards. The fourth, forged authorizations. Christine's attorney presented a signed document supposedly granting Robyn control over certain funds. Christine swore she had never signed it. A forensic handwriting expert testified the signature bore highly inconsistent characteristics compared to Christine's actual writing. The fifth and perhaps most insidious was emotional manipulation for financial control. According to testimony, Robyn convinced the other wives during the height of COVID that she should temporarily take over finances for the good of the family. That temporary control, the court heard, quietly became permanent, without the other's knowledge or consent. Pre-recorded video depositions from the other wives hit like body blows. Christine stared directly into the camera, her voice icy but steady. I trusted Robyn. I wanted to believe she had our best interests in mind. But little by little, I saw everything fall apart. She alienated Kody from us. She sowed division while pretending to unite us. Janelle's anger was quieter but sharper, her voice edged with years of suppressed frustration. There were accounts at the bank I never even knew existed. She told us we were broke, but she had money flowing into places we weren't even allowed to ask about. And Kody, he just went along. These weren't statements about lost money. They were confessions about betrayal, about trust destroyed beyond repair. The Robyn they described wasn't the teary-eyed TV personality viewers thought they knew. In court, she was composed, almost cold, speaking only to her attorney, avoiding eye contact with the judge and her former sister wives. Legal experts in the gallery dubbed her demeanor strategic silence, a choice that could shield her from verbal missteps, but one that made her look distant, even calculating. Then came the prosecution's financial expert, a forensic accountant who broke the entire scandal down into a brutal timeline. She lined up questionable transactions beside family milestones, creating a devastating visual. July 2019, Christine's daughter needed money for surgery, but the family claimed they had none, while $48,000 was spent on home upgrades for Robyn's property. November 2020, Mary asked to access business profits for a new online venture, but was told the account was closed 3 weeks after $75,000 had been transferred to Life with Robyn Inc. Early 2021. Kody suggested selling Janelle's RV to help the family's finances, but court records showed he and Robyn had just spent $60,000 on a backyard renovation complete with a hot tub and fireplace. The accountant's conclusion was damning. This wasn't mismanagement. It was a deliberate redirection of resources to benefit one couple at the expense of everyone else. The most heartbreaking testimony came from the children. Several adult kids submitted written statements. One read, "We thought the money was for all of us. I worked 2 jobs thinking the family couldn't afford to help with college. Turns out it was just us who couldn't." Another, reportedly from one of Robyn's older children, admitted, "I was told not to question things. I feel like I never knew the full truth." The betrayal had seeped into the next generation. Some kids had been shielded in comfort while others scraped by, completely unaware of the financial divide. When these revelations hit social media, public opinion swung hard. TikTok, Twitter, and Reddit erupted with outrage. "Robyn built a kingdom while pretending to survive," one comment read. "She cried on TV while pocketing everyone's money, off screen." That's next-level manipulation. A Reddit thread titled "Robyn Brown the Mastermind" hit 40,000 upvotes in a single day. Fans scoured old Sister Wives episodes, dissecting Robyn's body language and facial expressions like forensic evidence. No criminal charges had been filed yet, but Christine and Janelle's lawyers pushed for immediate restitution, even suggesting the sale of Kody and Robyn's home to repay the misappropriated funds. They also sought an injunction to freeze further asset transfers until the case was resolved. As one attorney put it, if it quacks like financial coercion and walks like financial coercion, it may very well be fraud. When court recessed, Robyn emerged first, head bowed, oversized sunglasses hiding her eyes. Kody followed, his face unreadable but his shoulders tense. They spoke to no one, but the crowd outside shouted anyway. Inside, the court was far from finished. When the session resumed, the spotlight shifted to Kody Brown himself. For over a decade, his name had been printed on TLC contracts, tied to the image of a man balancing love, leadership, and chaos in an unconventional family. But today, that image was crumbling. The judge's gavel cracked against the bench. "Mr. Brown," he said, his voice sharp, "you may respond to the charges." Kody stood, tugging at his tie. His first words were quiet but tight. "Your Honor, with all due respect, this isn't about fraud. It's about hurt feelings and revenge." Gasps rippled through the courtroom. The judge raised a brow, warning him to watch his tone. But Kody was past the point of restraint. His voice grew louder, faster, spilling over with frustration. "I've sacrificed my privacy, my peace, even my sanity for this family. I built a life with 4 women and 18 kids under constant public scrutiny. And now I'm being dragged through the mud for trying to protect what we had left." Reporters scribbled furiously as Kody's temper flared. This wasn't the calm, measured leader from TLC, it was a man unraveling in real time. The judge banged the gavel again, but Kody pushed forward, his gaze locking on Christine and Janelle. "You know what this is really about. You left. You walked away. Now you want to rewrite history and paint me as the villain because I tried to hold us together." Janelle stared at the floor. Christine's expression didn't waver, her eyes fixed straight ahead. The room was silent except for Kody's voice, heavy with both anger and desperation. "Do you have any idea the pressure I was under? The lies printed about me? The endless work to keep peace in this family, to keep the show going, to keep food on the table? You didn't want plural marriage anymore, and that's fine. But don't stand here and act like I manipulated anyone. We all made decisions. We all sacrificed. And I'm the one paying the price." The courtroom was drowning in a heavy silence, the kind that makes the air feel thicker, every breath weighed down by tension. Robyn sat stiffly at the table, her fingers gripping the edge so tightly her knuckles turned white. Her face was pale, her lips pressed into a thin line, as if holding back words she knew could destroy her. Kody sat beside her, his jaw tight, eyes darting between the judge and the opposing table. Across from them, Mary and Janelle exchanged quick glances, their expressions a mix of quiet triumph and barely restrained anger. They had waited for this day for far too long, and now, the moment was here. The judge's voice cut through the stillness like a blade, reading the verdict in slow, deliberate words that seemed to echo in every corner of the room. Robyn swallowed hard, her throat dry, while Kody leaned forward, straining to hear every detail. The ruling was clear. Coyote Pass was no longer under Robyn and Kody's control. The land that had been at the heart of so much pain, manipulation, and betrayal would now belong to Mary and Janelle. Gasps rippled through the small audience behind them, the sound only intensifying the sting of the loss. Robyn's hands trembled as she tried to steady herself, but the weight of the defeat was crushing her from the inside out. This wasn't just about land, it was about power, about the image she had worked so hard to protect. Kody's face flushed with a mix of rage and disbelief, his voice rising in protest, but the judge silenced him with a firm warning. Every word spoken in that room was being recorded, and there was no space left for his theatrics. As the session ended, Mary and Janelle walked out first, their heads held high. The media cameras outside flashed wildly, capturing every angle of their victorious smiles. Kody followed moments later, his steps heavy, his arm protectively around Robyn, though his eyes betrayed the storm brewing inside him. Robyn didn't speak. Her silence was louder than any words she could have offered. She knew the court's decision was final, but the humiliation, the public humiliation, was something she would carry like a scar. Once outside, questions from reporters came like rapid fire. Kody, what's next for you? Robyn, do you regret your decisions? Neither answered, pushing through the crowd toward their car. Behind them, Mary paused just long enough to speak into a microphone, her voice steady and cold. This is justice, and justice is long overdue.